the keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the show. Start populating the chat right now with all the questions. We're going to be getting into the news of the day, and there's a lot. Kyle Shanahan just got done speaking, of course, to the media, letting everyone know about the injury report and how the players are looking. But they're pretty much putting a wrap on this practice week. They're going to be headed to Lambeau Field tomorrow.
Yes, they are. And Derek, appreciate that. Best intro, 100% accurate and fire, Ant. It's all of those things. Donald Johnson, how you doing? Jay Ellie, I see you there. David, KNDR Collectibles. Man, Cutback crew out in full force already, and we just getting started. Just getting started with all this. And listen, we're ready. We're definitely ready for Saturday. I know most of the Cutback crew is. I know most of the faithful is ready for Saturday. Everyone's itching and excited for this game and the opportunities. And the best part is, Ant, right? It's only Thursday. Guess what they have tomorrow?
The Friday Frenzy.
A wonderful Friday Frenzy with all the things that you could ever hope for in your life. Madden simulations, game plan videos, what's good with Jay in the Bay. And then you can't forget Know Your Opponent as well. Going to be ready to go as well at the end of the day at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. You're not going to want to miss that. I mean, Ant, we got tons of great content still rolling out here on the channel. They got this live stream. Then after this, you got 4 incredible videos tomorrow. So that's going to be it's going to be great. I'm excited about the Friday Frenzy.
Yeah, and newsflash to anyone. If you enjoy watching the Madden simulations, make sure you watch the whole entire Madden simulation tomorrow. We just got done recording that, and I was completely shocked at the end of the game. But there are so many twists and turns in the game. There are moments where you're like, wait a second, because it feels kind of lull, but then all of a sudden it picks up in a big way and something big happens. So the Madden simulation is something to behold. So start your Friday off in a big way with the Madden simulation tomorrow.
Yeah, make sure you start off the Madden simulation tomorrow and be ready for it. Couple good questions here already, and Derek 49er Holmes. Do you think they will keep Bosa in all game or limit him? I think as long as they're not concerned that he's going to have any sort of setbacks or have any sort of mobility issues, especially with the neck area, then I don't expect him to be too limited. Maybe there's a couple situations on some base running downs where you get him off the field a little bit more and before you send him back in there. But listen, this is a big game. It's a huge opportunity. As long as Nick Bosa clears concussion protocol, I don't expect there to be, any sort of severe limitations for Nick Bosa.
Normal rotation. As long as he's cleared to play, he's going to be in his normal rotation. He's going to get out there. He's going to want to get it done. He's going to want to get after Aaron Rodgers because they know that is the only way, right, that they can stop Devontae Adams is to get after Aaron Rodgers.
Very accurate, Ant. Very accurate indeed. Yes, Jay Ellie, definitely an M. Night Shyamalan. What the twist? It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow, so make sure you don't miss out on any of that. Jay Ellie also asked, will Trenton Cannon be active on Saturday? I haven't heard anything. On Trenton Cannon.
Yeah, I'm thinking no. But, Trenton Cannon was big for the 49ers in the first Green Bay game. Yeah, that big kick return at the end of the first half that really shifted momentum and gave the 49ers an opportunity to score a touchdown, which they did. So, yeah, I mean, against, a special teams like Green Bay that is 32nd, it would be nice to have a special teams ace such as Trenton Cannon who could play gunner and returner. But, yeah, I don't think so. I think they're rolling kind of with what they have right now. JaMychal Hasty will, I'm sure, handle those kick return responsibilities unless they decide they want Green Bay to kick it out of the end zone every time, at which time they will put Deebo Samuel back there.
And speaking of that, David Campbell just asked, will they pull out all the stops and put Deebo back on kickoffs? I don't think the Niners expect anyone to actually kick to Deebo Samuel. But if you have early in the game Green Bay kicking short and trying to force the Niners to return, you might put Deebo Samuel back there just to put the fear of God in them and make them put the ball in the back of the end zone, let you get it at the 25.
And some of it depends on what you expect Deebo's workload to be. If Deebo's going to be running the football a lot, and he's going to be sharing, the targets in the passing game, and he's going to run the ball, you're going to want to keep him as fresh as possible. So him taking on the extra task of being a kick returner might not be the best idea. So I think they'll be playing that into a workload. But if this game is really close, I could see them in the second half possibly going to Deebo Samuel returning kicks. I think they're not going to hold anything back. They know they need to get past Green Bay. You play this game, everything full out. You can't think about, the next week. You got to win now. But I think they would take chances if they needed to. I'm just hoping they don't have to.
Yeah, I would prefer they don't have to as well. Clown Man, how you doing, sir? He said, "What's up, big dogs?
What is up, Clown Man?
Went out today, had a ball like a lion, and ripped 2 Cowgirls fans and gave them them brutal fact bombs. Cowboys fans are struggling right now, so you know what, Clown Man? Good on you. Good on you. Way to make them try and see the truth, even though they don't want to.
They are struggling.
They really are. They want to blame the refs. I mean, it's like literal ref ball. It's funny. I actually watched someone break down the game a little bit and said, Cowboys fans right now are complaining about ref ball. And he said, there's actually some more egregious ref ball that happened in that football game. The 49ers, when Kyle Shanahan called a timeout, when they ran the clock down with, coming up to that 40-second stretch, when he ran it down all the way to 1 second, he called a timeout with 38 seconds. They added 2 seconds back onto the clock after the timeout, put it back to 40, which doesn't make a lot of sense because if game clock and play clock are in sync, if you run the thing all the way down to 1 and call the timeout, there's no time to add back on.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. And there was also another situation where after the respot, the clock wound all the way down to 103. When Debo hit the ground, it was at 103. They added an additional 6 seconds onto the clock, I believe, after the fact. And that's including the whole winding down of the play clock from 40 to 25. I mean, they gave them an additional, I think the guy calculated out as the Cowboys got an additional 12 seconds for their last drive that they shouldn't have had. So the last quarterback draw fiasco, they want to say, he goes, there should have been 2 seconds on the clock, which means the minute Dak takes the snap and takes off and slides, it's game over.
Yeah, well, I'm not really worried about it. I mean, you can't start your slide, 3 yards beyond and then, go ahead and move the ball up. That's just not how it works.
No, it is not how it works at all, Ant. It is what it is. Look, we had a wonderful question from Sir Juju. Is Ombre hurt/injured? And it actually leads into some of the breaking news updates that we have coming out of practice from today with the 49ers. First and foremost, was it Mayoko that said everyone was practicing today?
He said everyone was out there, was the way he reported it. But yeah, everyone was practicing today, including Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa was a full participant. Ombre Thomas was a full participant in practice. The only reason that Nick Bosa is on the injury report is because he's still in concussion protocol, isn't officially cleared yet. But Kyle Shanahan's optimistic he's going to clear. And then for Sir Juju, Ombre Thomas is dealing with an injury. He has a bone bruise on his knee, I believe it is.
Yep.
And those things are painful, and it's a little bit different. I've heard a couple of the other podcasts struggling on what a bone bruise is. Basically asking if it's the same as a chest contusion. No, it's not. If a chest contusion, even though painful, is a lot different. A bone bruise is a lot more painful than that. But as long as he's able to go out there and run and they can pad it up, he'll be fine.
Think about a bone bruise as essentially being deep, and it usually penetrates into a joint. You have tendon issues and muscle issues in and around the joint, which is where stability is. So yeah, it's whenever you're moving, it is not fun. It is not fun at all. He's dealing with it around his knee, which is not great. As of right now, people carrying certain designations, Bosa is questionable, dealing with concussion protocol. Ombre Thomas, questionable, dealing with the knee. Jordan Willis, questionable, dealing with the ankle. Both of them got limited practices today. Those two did, Ombre Thomas and Jordan Willis. So they had full participants the other day. Today in practice, limited participants. So if you're the 49ers, you got to feel pretty good about that. Yes, they got limited after a full day, but it's better than the alternative, which is David Bakhtiari and Marquez Valdez-Scantling still DNPing this week. They have not practiced yet. Tuesday was supposed to be just a maintenance day, a load management day for David Bakhtiari, but he hasn't seen the practice field yet for the Packers. However, they have ruled him as questionable, as is Jair Alexander. The only one carrying a doubtful designation is Marquez Valdez-Scantling. So it looks like they're going to probably go into this game with everyone but Valdez-Scantling in their lineup. So they're going to be pretty much healthy except for one guy at the wide receiver position.
And that's important because Valdez-Scantling is one of those guys that can take the top off the defense. He's a vertical threat. Lazard, even though he's a big receiver, is not as much of a vertical threat as Scantling is. So that's good for the 49ers defense. You already had Randall Cobb coming back. They're going to have plenty of firepower and weapons, but to me, that is I mean, I hate to say it, but it's good news, right? That somebody's not going to play in that situation. It's better news for the 49ers. I think they're not worried about going against them, but Anytime that happens, you're just like, okay. And I mean, we know Bakhtiari's going to play, and Bakhtiari's going to play pretty well. The question is he going to be able to handle, the flow of these guys coming at him in waves, because it's going to be Nick Bosa, it's going to be Charles Omenihu, it's Samson Ebukam, Arden Key, Eric Armstead. They're all coming for him every single play. Is he going to be able to handle that wave of defensive pressure that he's going to get from this 49ers defensive line?
It's going to be a big one there. And JLA just mentioned, Kyle Shanahan's presser. He didn't get a chance to watch any real new news. The only thing that he really commented on that I guess would be something that maybe people don't expect to hear is the fact that Ambry Thomas, as of right now, he says he's questionable. He thinks he's going to be able to go. He says it's going to come down to how he feels on game day. And if it's not Ambry Thomas, and it's one of two guys, who's one of the two guys, do you believe?
Josh Norman.
And the other one?
Dante Johnson.
You would be correct, sir. It's going to be one of those two if Ambry Thomas can't go.
Yeah, it's not surprising. And I think Dante Johnson was actually trending to get that job originally.
Agreed with you.
So we'll see. I think everyone believes the best situation for Ambry Thomas, and I believe that as well. So I'm hoping he's going to be able to go do it. I think he's going to gut it out. I mean, this guy's a tough kid. I think he's going to get out there and he's going to play. The question is he going to be able to play at full ability? If he's able to play at full ability, I feel more comfortable with the secondary than I ever have before. If it's not, then, I mean, you're kind of playing it a similar way because you want to give help. So it's all about stopping the run with that front seven and then letting one of your safeties help out whoever is over there, whether that's Dante or that's Josh Norman. That's just going to be necessary and mandatory, especially if it's Devontae Adams.
Agreed with you there. 49ers Chanel, how you doing? Look, it's going to be an interesting situation, just no matter what, with the Ambry Thomas in the cornerback room. Nick Bosa is trending towards being able to go. That's the good news. Kyle came out and basically said he's expecting Fred and Jimmy to both play on Saturday, so both of them are trending in the right direction. They had a lot of different questions for Kyle regarding Jimmy's hand. Is he going to wear a glove? What's he going to do? And as of right now, Kyle said whatever Jimmy wants to do, but he doesn't typically like to wear a glove to throw. He thinks he's going to be just fine. It's going to be cold. There's a potential now and possibility of snow, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, there's always been like snow flurries in the area.
Okay.
Leading up to the game. I think everyone's hopeful that those are going to be gone. I think it's just going to be really cold. Anytime it's that degree of weather, it's going to be a little bit miserable to play. The contact hurts a little bit more. But these guys know what's going to happen. They know what's up. And some of these players have played in these conditions, whether it was in college or in high school or whatever. These guys are equipped to handle it. Just because they're a California team doesn't mean they're all from California. Just like George Kittle. I mean, he's basically saying, don't threaten me with a good time. This sounds fun for us. So I think that, it's kind of overblown, the weather situation sometimes. So we'll see.
Very accurate, Ant. Very accurate. So we're gonna find out. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how everything kind of plays out. One of the guys that Kyle thinks needs to step up in a big way, Ant, because there's one thing we can't afford to do anymore, and it's lose special teams per Kyle Shanahan. He's talking about Mitch this week and basically saying how the team's gonna need him. They need the best version of him. They need the guy that was at Utah. I didn't know this before. I don't know how I missed out on this because I usually follow punters very, very closely. He was the Ray Guy winner his senior year. I didn't know that. But he led the nation in 50-yard punts. And 49ers fans are now going, wait, what? Mitch Wishnowsky, 50-yard punts? We don't see a lot of those. It's tough sometimes when the Niners, especially the second half of the season, second half of football games especially, where they put themselves almost in super negative field position, right? Where you're inside the 10 to start most drives, you don't get outside the 20, and then you're having to punt the football away from, standing within your own end zone. You're going to be lucky to get the ball to midfield, past midfield in those types of situations. But Mitch needs to step up in a big way, and the special teams has to step up in a big way. They really, truly do. And you gave your Wildcats bold prediction on the game preview show for the special teams as well, which always makes me feel good inside. And I love it when you go with those because as of right now on the season, you're 1-1. You're 1-1 on predictions. We'll see if you come to...
You mean 1 of 1.
1 of 1. My apologies.
Yeah, I did not get one wrong on special teams.
No, you're 1 for 1.
Yeah, I know, but the way you said it was 1 and 1. What did it mean I got one wrong?
I should have said 1 for 1. Ant.
There you go.
1 for 1. There you go. But 1 for 1. Hopefully you're 2 for 2 after this weekend.
I agree.
And you got yourself the worst special teams unit in the league going up against the 27th ranked special teams unit in the league in the 49ers. So if there was ever a week for you to figure it out special teams and put it together and then be able to ride that momentum through the rest of the playoffs, now's the time. This divisional game is the opportunity.
Well, it's not as easy though for Mitch Wishnowsky. Okay, yeah, he led the league or led the college football in 50-yard punts. But you also don't know what the special teams is tasking him to do. Do they want more height on the football so that way the coverage team can get there?
True.
Sometimes you're going to lose distance because they want the extra height. You play into different situations. Also, if Utah's playing from way behind, you're having to flip the field, right? If they're playing from a bad situation and on their side of the field. But I think a lot of things go into it. So I don't know what they've asked him to do. I think he has the ability to kick it 50 plus every single time. I just think he's not asked to do that. And then remember, in one of the games this year, he was tasked with kicking a knuckle punt, and he did that. And there was 2 turnovers in the game. So I think that sometimes he's kind of asked to do different things, and he gets criticized for them when he does it. The main thing is no shanks, no bad field position. Just go out there and execute, and I think he'll be fine.
And you know what? Who knows? Maybe they'll get a good idea tomorrow in the Madden Sim.
There you
of
go.
What Madden predicts. Make sure you're here for that. That's 9 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. This Madden simulation is going to get going. It's going to be a lot of fun. Troy Aikman said he and Michael Irvin would have had a field day against our secondary.
It's true.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, the way he's saying it is the way that they're playing coverage. He thinks that now everything is about scheme. It's not about just going out there and saying, my guy's better than your guy, and I'm going to make this happen. But what he doesn't understand is the 49ers defense wouldn't have played against Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin the same way it played against the Cowboys defense, our offense now, because of the tools. Michael Irvin's a better receiver than anyone on Dallas Cowboys. That's not a joke. That's why Eddie DeBartolo went and got primetime. He said, we can't stop the playmaker. Primetime can. And he got him and he locked him down. So, yeah, Michael Irvin would have went off against the 49ers secondary in the way that they were playing. Yeah. I think they would have schemed it up differently to take him away. It would have been a different animal. But let's not get it twisted either. This 2021 Dallas Cowboys can't even sniff how good those 90s Cowboys teams were. Those teams were ridiculous. They could run the football with Emmitt Smith, and then they had the weapons on the outside. Jay Novacek at tight end, Michael Irvin, the big one, but also Alvin Harper made a lot of big plays for them. They were a very talented football team. And Troy Aikman, yes, he was pulling the trigger, but the circumstances are completely different.
Yeah, I mean, completely different.
Jerry Rice would have ate the Dallas Cowboys secondary alive. Steve Young and Joe Montana would have picked them apart. Of course they would. Okay, thanks, Troy. We appreciate it. We understand you're mad Romo got to call the game and you didn't.
That's what he's upset about.
Yeah.
That's what he's upset about.
Oh, and CBS paid, $70 million for the rights?
Hey, they probably made all of that money back.
Yeah.
40+ million people watching.
They had first choice, and they chose that game.
Smart.
Yeah.
I mean, they chose the right game. That's the game you wanted on national television. It's the game you want. You wanted Romo and his boy on there. That's that crew in that moment, in that situation with the rivalry renewed. How was that game not going to draw attention?
I see your poll, and I got a question for the everyone in chat. Because Josh Norman's got 17% of the vote?
Now 29.
No, 29. How many people are voting that way because that's what they want, or how many are voting that's what they think will actually happen?
That's a good question. That's a
because
good question.
33% had voted for Diamador Lenore.
I don't want Diamador Lenore on the field right now. We haven't seen Diamador Lenore.
I've seen Diamador Lenore play against the Green Bay Packers.
Well, that was the Green Bay Packers. That was week 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine he's gotten better, but it was a really bad game.
There's a reason he wasn't mentioned in the Kyle Shanahan comments.
Yeah.
Diamador Lenore is a young guy that's developing. He showed a lot of promise early. He's going to develop into something, especially hopefully in the slot.
Correct.
Hopefully we can get him to end up being like a DJ Reed, for instance. That would be huge. But right now, I don't see him starting. It's Norman, it's Dante Johnson, but I wonder how many people are just like, I'm sick of Norman. I'd rather have...
I think they are just sick of Norman. I think, especially after the fake punt does not go his way. By the way, Hightower said he just got routed. I watched that back. He didn't get routed. Completely turned his back to the guy.
It's a complete scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He completely turned his back.
Did you see the other corner doing the same thing on the other side?
Yes, he did the same thing.
It was called that way.
Yeah. The punter could have went either direction with the football.
Yeah.
He went to the guy he was comfortable with.
Yeah, he went to the short side of the field because he can't throw it that far.
Stunned, Dan. I'm absolutely stunned by that. David Campbell asked, cold weather a worry with Jimmy's thumb? ? Maybe. It really depends on, it's really going to depend on if there's lingering pain. If there's pain with the cold weather, then yes, it would be agitated, but he's going to have a shot. So it's going to be numb. He's not going to feel a whole heck of a lot. The biggest concern is the shoulder for me.
All right, you're been gay, icy hot. Are we worried about this? Come on.
His thumb? No, I'm not worried about his thumb. I am worried about the shoulder sprain.
Icy hot, been gay. Just come on, lather it up, get out there and make it happen.
Some good old kinesiology tape to help the blood flow in.
I mean, it might sound like, rookie of the year when he's throwing, but who cares as long as the ball gets there? We'll worry about your shoulder later on. It's a sprain. You can power through it.
But you can power through it.
The reason I'm not
cold weather can agitate things like that though and make it uncomfortable.
You can keep it warm though.
Correct. There are plenty of ways to keep it warm
simple.
and loose.
Here you go. Okay, there's one.
The good old arm circle.
Yeah, and number 2. Remember, I would be more worried if he started underthrowing passes. He didn't get enough juice on the football. He was overthrowing receivers. So that I'm not worried about because if the sprain was hindering him where he couldn't throw the ball enough down the field, then I'd be more worried.
Juju with the WD-40.
There you go. I like that. WD-40. Hey, WD-40 and duct tape. Get Jimmy out there. We're ready. Well played, Sir Juju.
The $26 million man. And Anthony, the sixth there, couple Tylenol, he good.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Can of corn.
Can of corn.
I'll be fine. How it works. That's totally how it works. Expect more great analysis like that from Aikman on Saturday night. Oh God, yeah.
Him and Joe Buck.
Listen, Joe. The Niners are a great football team, but I got to be honest with you. How are you going to beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers?
You got to get your full hand out there.
How are you going to beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers at Lambeau Field in these type of conditions? I just don't see it.
Yeah, he looks like the questionable PE teacher you had growing up, where you're not sure what's going on there. That's what Troy Aikman looks like.
But there's some sus behavior. There's definitely some sus behavior.
Yeah.
Agreed. You think Trey will get a couple of snaps this week to relieve Jimmy a little? Derek, I do not.
No.
I know Grant Cohn had his 49ers or his Cohn After Dark conversation last night in his video that went up.
Sounds exotic.
Is the Trey Lance package making a comeback this week? I know a lot of people have drawn conclusions, right? You saw Trey Lance go in a couple times against Green Bay. Both times it worked. You had the Kyle Juszczyk sneak. You had the touchdown run in the second half. Oh, was the second half or was it end of the first half? End of the first half.
Yeah.
It was the last drive at the end of the first half. So, I mean, I just don't see it. The 49ers have shown that this is Jimmy Garoppolo's team and this is Jimmy Garoppolo's playoffs.
I believe that Green Bay game is actually when they realized how much it was throwing them out of rhythm.
I think you're right.
I think you could see a special circumstance, right? Like they did in that game where it's 4th and 1.
At the goal line, and you throw something weird out there.
Yeah, because
they're not prepared for it.
It's right. You get a touchdown on it. It is something that's different. But I do think this is Jimmy's team. I think if you see Trey Lance, it's because Jimmy can't go or Jimmy's struggling. I don't think they're going to do as many packages. I did early on in the season, but I don't now.
Agreed there, Ant. Definitely agreed. Is Fakeman going to be one of our commentators this Saturday?
Yeah, it's him and Joe Buck. Yeah.
Not excited. That's the only thing I'm not excited for.
I actually prefer Aikman to Buck for sure.
Oh, I prefer Aikman to Buck.
I can't stand Buck, and I think that Aikman is a better commentator than I like him more as a commentator than I did as an actual quarterback.
Fair.
He was a good quarterback, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
And I think he does an adequate job as a commentator because there are some that are just awful. So we got to take what we can get.
Jay Ellie, I think you're wrong here. Joe Buck, his father would slap him if he knew what he would turn out like this.
Yep, Jack would.
You think he would?
Oh yeah, 100% smack him. Yeah.
I hope. Wow.
I mean, as a San Francisco Giants fan, can't stand Joe Buck.
I'd
rather watch teams on. I'd rather watch it on mute. Turn on the radio. Yeah, give me Kruk and Kipe.
I would much prefer Kruk. Yeah,
Kipe, or Kipe even John Miller at that point. And I'm not a huge John.
You're
Miller
not
fan.
A John Miller fan,
but I'll listen to John Miller and
before Buck.
I'll listen to pretty much anyone before Buck.
Oh, Buck's just there's no energy.
Yeah.
Other than that was a disgusting act by Randy Moss. Other than that, there's no energy.
Yeah.
No emotion.
Yeah.
Because he fake mooned some fans on a touchdown in a rivalry game.
Heaven forbid.
What a piece of human debris.
Yeah.
I remember that call and someone was like, "Hey, that is such an iconic call." It's a terrible call. It's a terrible call.
What's iconic about it?
Nothing about it is iconic. It is iconically cringe.
Yeah.
It's iconically awful. Like, that's what you're focused on the situation. One of the best wide receivers in the games shooting a fake moon to his rival's fan base and egging them on in a huge rivalry game with lots of implications.
I don't know. I never put that much thought into it, Alex, to be honest with you.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
I don't even think about that play on the reg. I don't.
Oh, I don't. Did you really just say on the reg?
On the reg, yeah. You were given like a full breakdown, so I thought I would just
fair enough.
Let you go and roll.
Hey, cutback grew 69% for Dante Johnson. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dante Johnson is not necessarily who the people want, but It's who they're willing to deal with.
It's not the hero they need, but it's the hero they'll deserve
take.
at that point. Yeah,
I don't think it's even deserved. I think it's just a hero they'll take.
Over Josh Norman.
I'm really surprised that KNDR hasn't said 49ers should sign Brian Allen today.
Caleb, come on, man. You're supposed to be better than this.
No, he didn't say it. I just said I figured he would.
Well, he did say, can't wait to hear how Aaron Rodgers grew up a Niner fan for the 900th time.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That one is actually accurate.
We're going to take a nice trip to Chico, California.
Oh, yeah. God. Oh, God. Brad Jones, interesting question here, Ant. With the way Compton has played, do you see them trying to trade Big Mike in the offseason to get the salary off the book?
It is an interesting question. I think that's something that's going to come up is that the decision to make it the right tackle spot. But Mike McGlinchey at $10.5 million is still a pretty cheap option for what he does in the run game. He's still one of the best run blockers. I think that there is going to be an opportunity for Tom Compton in San Francisco, but the question is, will he be a swing tackle? Will he be a right guard? You're going to be having some decisions to make with Daniel Brunskill. Could they ultimately move Mike McGlinchey inside or put Tom Compton back at his normal guard spot? And maybe you roll with that because we don't know what Banks is going to be like. But Banks has been the one that's been active on game day, where Jalen Moore was the one that didn't dress.
True.
So there is some interesting stuff going on with those two rookie linemen. I think they're both going to end up developing into something, but at what time? The other thing to keep into consideration is what happens with Alex Mack. But yeah, I do think there's a bigger question about it. I think they do have a lot of trust and faith in Mike McGlinchey, but Tom Compton's definitely putting his name in there in the mix, and hey, that's big for us because if he didn't, this team would be in a world of hurt probably.
The Niners should not sign All-Pro trash can Brian Allen. They should never ever do that. Summer of '69, Brian Adams from 49ers Fogey. Gary,
nice.
That is a good one. That's nice.
Well played, Gary.
Caleb, never, absolutely never. Never. No. He also said we need Gus Johnson calling playoff games. No. He did it. It's just screaming. It's just screaming, man.
Not a Gus Johnson fan.
I hate Gus Johnson,
no.
And not as a person, as an announcer.
Whoa, hate is such a strong word.
I hate it. Everything.
Jay Hill likes it, right?
I know. That's another reason why I hate it. It's just screaming. It's everything. Everything is the biggest thing that's ever happened, right? It's the polar opposite of Buck. Buck, I hate because there's no emotion on top of just the nonsense that comes out of his mouth and the complete and utter bias. And on the other side, you have Gus Johnson, who is literally the polar opposite, where everything is the biggest thing that's ever happened in the history of the sport. And it's like, dude, it was a 5-yard run for a first down. Can we calm down?
Yeah.
We need to tone it down a little bit.
They just don't make him like Pat Summerall anymore. I'll take Pat Summerall.
I agree with you on there.
He could call every single game if forever God would allow it. That would have been wonderful.
JLA, I picked number 27, but that's only if Aubrey Thomas can't go. That list wasn't too amazing, though. Not a lot of options there.
No.
The Niners are...
Well, the good news is, right, Dante Johnson has starts at corner.
True.
Josh Norman has starts at corner.
True.
Diamo Lenore has starts at corner. What do you mean there's not great options?
There's 3 guys who started.
Yeah, and don't forget, they do have Darquez Denard, too.
It's true they do have Darquez.
He probably won't dress for the game, but hey, at least we got veterans who knows what's up.
True.
It was a lot worse earlier in the season, I'll tell you that much.
Very accurate, Ant.
Yeah.
Very accurate. Props to the playmaker for showing up on First Take on Monday to take his licks from Stephen A. By the way, that entire segment where they're just showing Cowboys fans and Michael Irvin is just sitting there just all like feeling sick to his stomach and not wanting to look at it, and Stephen A. Smith is literally maniacally laughing at all the Cowboys fans. I don't typically like Stephen A. Smith, but I liked that. That was nice.
I didn't watch any of it.
I just watched the highlight on YouTube.
I don't watch the 4-letter network.
I don't watch it either. I just watch the highlights on YouTube. That third-party people not named ESPN post. There you go. That's how I get my ESPN fix.
Yeah, I definitely did not watch any of that. But Michael Irvin's one of those guys. He usually does a pretty good job of taking his lumps. He puts it out there and then he takes it. I really don't have problems with him. I couldn't stand him as a football player. He was too good in the 90s. But once again, as an analyst, he's not that bad.
No, he's really not. There's a lot of guys that are like that, right? As players, can't stand him. Analysts, love him. Or if you're in Richard Sherman's case, in Seattle, hate you. get to San Francisco, absolutely love you.
How you feel about him in Tampa Bay?
A wash, right? He was really of no consequence over there. And he's showing Jimmy a lot of love and this 49ers team a lot of love, even though he's been over there. I did enjoy him on, I loved watching Sherm on Man in the Arena. It was absolutely fantastic when they brought him on to talk about that whole dynamic and situation with Brady and the playoff game and just this level of confidence. Richard Sherman is still that dude, man. Richard Sherman is still that dude. I will never, ever forget the Frank Caliendo Richard Sherman special, man. This is one of my all-time favorite Caliendo sketch. The whole thing from the Bill Belichick impersonation, the Gruden impersonation, with the Control Alt Delete, because he all those windows, we'll close them up in a hurry. To the Harbaugh in the little kid's room where he's throwing a temper tantrum and kicks the tiny chair.
Yep.
I mean, everything about that sketch was pure gold. It's the Ditka with the gum.
Yeah.
And just like to think about it. Say it.
I don't know what it means. I just like to think about it and say it.
The Andy Reid with the cookies and the milk. That's glorious. He does Bush and Clinton talking about Sherman for whatever reason. Yeah. The Jaworski with the 72 and a half hours of film. I truly believe Richard Sherman could be the best cornerback ever.
Yeah. Schefter named him WWE champion and president of the United States.
President of the United States. It was absolutely glorious. That was a wonderful one. Gary, who forgot to hit the like button? How dare you? Hit that like button right now. We're sitting at 18. Get those numbers up. Get those numbers up. Absolutely take care of that business there. Big Shan be killing Skip. Shannon Sharp has been all over Skip Bayless a lot lately. Look, there's been a lot of things, and there's a lot of people still talking up the 49ers right now. There's a lot of media heads, again, saying how much the problem the Niners are. Aaron Rodgers went on with Pat McAfee, talk about this matchup, and, the Niners really a problem for you guys. A really good football team. Aaron does his typical Aaron Rodgers thing. Both teams are going to be very motivated. Both teams have a lot to prove this weekend. This is going to be a beatdown. It's going to be a showdown. This is going to be two teams who I think you and I both agree that these teams at this point in time don't like each other. I think you have two head coaches that really aren't on good pages. I don't think Kyle Shanahan dislikes LaFleur, but I think LaFleur is still ticked off at Kyle Shanahan.
I don't think it's personal, but I think it's competitive.
Yes.
They definitely don't like each other competitively. And and anytime you use the word bittersweet, that means you're really looking at the sweet part. You're just throwing the bittersweet because you're trying to keep the friendship alive. But yeah, these guys want to get after each other, and LaFleur wants to get over the hump of beating Kyle Shanahan, because right now Shanahan has his number in the playoffs because they only had the one meeting.
Yep.
So he's wanting to prove it, and I think the 49ers are wanting to beat them down a little bit. But also Green Bay, they really celebrated. Like, they really enjoyed Week 3. They were very excited about it, and I think that maybe put a bad taste in the 49ers' mouth a little bit. I think they're going to want to go in there and beat him at Lambeau and kind of get the last laugh on the situation.
That's what you would think, right? You would think that that's what you want to do. I mean, I'm going to try and pull up the lasting image for 49ers fans so they can remember Aaron Rodgers in Week 3 versus the 49ers and his exuberant celebration where he was jumping up and down on the field. I'm gonna try and find that. But Sean, how you doing, sir?
Yeah.
Welcome to the live chat. So a lot of news for the 49ers, getting a lot of guys back, and the Packers and dealing with some potentially bad news with Bakhtiari and with Valdez Scantling. Scantling doubtful, but Bakhtiari questionable. I think you and I both believe he's gonna play.
He's playing.
I know he's DNPing, but they're just trying to make sure he's healthy for Saturday.
He's playing. Yeah, listing him as questionable means he's playing. I don't think there's any reason why he wouldn't. And I think that Valdez Scantling though is the one that he's probably not going to play. He's listed as doubtful for a playoff game. Yeah, he's not going to play in this game. If he does, how much limitations will he have on him? So I think that he won't go, but they're still going to have Bakhtiari. They're still going to be really healthy. We know Jair Alexander is still going to play. These guys were all turning in the right direction. So we'll see. This is going to be, a matchup of two teams that are as healthy as they can be, because we all know that no one's 100% at this time of the year.
Accurate. No one is ever 100% at this time of the year. Unfortunately, Cutback Crew, I can't find the photo because the NFL makes it nearly impossible to find what I want to like to find. But hey, it is what it is. Sean said, we have to be the more physical team. Again, we cannot afford any more mishaps on special teams. Agreed with him there. And I don't think I don't think the challenging part of this game is going to be being physical. I think the Niners can do that right now kind of whenever they feel like it. It's kind of like a switch they can turn on and off. You don't want to mess with that switch, but I know they know where to find it and how to do it. The question is going to be can you be more physical than Green Bay? Because Green Bay has to have seen what the 49ers have done the last few weeks against a handful of different teams and be thinking to themselves, we got to come out early and punch these guys in the mouth and keep punching them. The question will be, if you're the 49ers, can you take that beating, number one, or number two, can you counter it, right? If they're going to come out swinging and be super aggressive, can you use that to their disadvantage, get them to back off a little bit, and the minute they back off, now take that ground back and then start pummeling them and beating them into submission?
The misconception is that Green Bay is going to come out swinging.
You don't think they will?
No, I mean, they might think they're going to, but just because you think you're that guy doesn't mean you're that guy. You can't come into the ring and think you're going to bully the bully. Dallas found out, Los Angeles Rams found out. Yeah, Los Angeles Rams got after the Niners a little bit. But then what happened? They control got taken, the 49ers went after them, and then it just completely obliterated them. The same thing goes for Dallas. Dallas thought they were going to come in and set a tone physically, and they got completely mollywopped. And I think that's what's going to happen with Green Bay. Green Bay can come in with an attitude like, yeah, we need to be physical. But Green Bay being physical means they get to stay in the game. Green Bay is not going to be able to be more physical than the 49ers. There's no point in anything that they do or anything that I've seen on film that shows me that they can be more physical than the San Francisco 49ers. If they do, I would be completely shocked. If they do, they will not only win the football game, they will dominate the football game. I think the 49ers are the bullies. They're going to push them around. No team, and I'm going to make this statement so everyone knows, no team in the NFL is as physical as the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are going to go out there, and that's their meal ticket. That's the key, is go in there and absolutely take it to the Green Bay Packers right away. Punch them in the mouth right away, and everyone finds out who they are when they get punched in the mouth.
Very accurate. The minute you get punched in the mouth, you kind of have that moment of a come to Jesus moment. It's like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, right. You have two thoughts.
This is an actual fight.
You have two thoughts, like I'm out of here, or I'm going to get into this thing.
One of the two.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who think they're going to get into this thing. Let the adrenaline take over. They jump into the scrum and then very quickly realize what they've gotten themselves into, and it's like, oh God, no, get me out of here.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how Green Bay responds. Is it more of an advantage to be in a recent big game or have the bye from David Campbell? And what are your thoughts on that?
I think it depends on the makeup of your team. I think the bye was good for the San Francisco 49ers in 2019. They needed to get rested. They got pushed to the limit, against Seattle. But I think there is something about playing every single week. I think what it does is it gets you in a rhythm. And the 49ers have been playing kind of do or die football. So it keeps you in that mode. It keeps you in that thought process. You're just ready to roll every single week. And there is something to say about that. And that's why you see some of these teams get hot and go all the way. And I think the 49ers could be one of those teams because, right now they're rolling. And even though they haven't played an A game, and I don't know how you feel about this, because we've kind of talked about, hey, you need an A game to beat Green Bay. Eric Davis said the Niners don't need an A game to beat Green Bay. The 49ers can make mistakes and still beat the Green Bay Packers. So I think maybe there is a little bit of a margin for error there. But it's going to come down to, how their health is. The health would have been nice to have a week off, but I think overall for momentum, it was nice to go ahead and play through.
Agreed with you there.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing that I take from a lot of bye weeks. It really comes down to the circumstances that lead up into your bye and the type of team you are. Green Bay, for the most part, has been not necessarily the healthiest, but they haven't been depleted by injuries. They've had a majority of their core pieces, and they've had a couple of guys who make their lives easier, not on the field to help them out in football games. So I think the bye helps in that aspect. However, they weren't playing for a whole lot against the Lions, and they only played their guys half of a game in that game so that they would not be hopefully too rusty. So they have had a game and a half off to essentially rest and get themselves to where they need to be.
Do you think that's too much?
It's a lot. It's a lot of time. Maybe. But you know what I'm not going to do? I am not going to sit there and say that not Tom Brady, that Aaron Rodgers isn't going to come out and just deal. Because he can. He's capable of doing that. I don't think it matters how much time away from the game or how much time off Aaron Rodgers has. He's just kind of one of those guys that he's going to be in it, right? He's just going to be in that mode. He doesn't need to find it. So if you're the 49ers, it's all about getting that run game established early. It's all about keeping him on the sideline as much as you can early in that game. If we can see some drives like we saw against Jacksonville, right, and some of these long 14, 12 play drives to open the first quarter where you eat over half the time on a cold day in Lambeau Field, that's a good thing if you're the 49ers. Aaron Rodgers hasn't had a lot of time to play the last few weeks. If you make him sit even longer and agitated getting into that game, then you're going to have a situation where Aaron may come out and feel like, hey, I haven't played in a while. This team just, marched down the field and did what they wanted to. I got to do something here. I got to punch these guys back in the mouth as well, and that could lead to mistakes.
Yeah, I think that's a key. Aaron can do whatever he wants. The question is he going to have the opportunity? The 49ers are going to want to keep him off the field, and they're going to want to pound the rock. I seen that Brad Jones was talking about the referee crew. The referee is going to be Ron Torbert. It's his 12th season, 8th as a referee, and he has worked 3 wildcard playoffs and 6 divisional playoffs. Okay. A little bit of information about the crew that's put together. Penalty calls out of 17 officiating crews, holding 7th. Could that be good for the 49ers on defense? And could it be a detriment to the 49ers on offense? Pass interference, 13th. Yeah. Roughing the passer, 5th.
Oh, Jesus.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, 17th. Penalty yards, 19th. Here's the kicker, though, Alex. As far as team penalties per game, ranking, 49ers at 15th. Packers, 32nd.
Oh, boy.
So there you go. That's kind of what we're looking at with the referee. So the Packers are as a team are penalized the worst in the NFL. So you had Dallas, who was undisciplined. They got penalized a lot. You got the Green Bay Packers going to be penalized a lot. So at least maybe it'll neutralize. Maybe it'll be a wash. We won't have to worry about it. But yeah, anytime you hear about the defensive pass interference calls, maybe the holding calls, it makes you nervous. On the defensive side of the ball, though, hopefully that helps our defensive line. On the offensive side of the ball, though, you got to think we're going to get a couple of those like we got with Laken Tomlinson against the Cowboys of the holding.
Agreed with you on that. Brad Jones said, how much different are the Packers to the team they were in week 3? Because I know we are very, very, very different. That we are. The Niners are much different than week 3. And the Packers are different than week 3. They're different. They're different in the sense of how they've had to go about execution, because you haven't had Aaron Jones as much. You haven't had Randall Cobb. You've been in and out with Marquez Valdes-Scantling and no Robert Tonyan. You've seen a lot more Allen Lazard playing kind of like a tight slot sort of situation, almost like kind of a mini Kyle Juszczyk-esque role as a hybrid tight end sort of position. So they've done things a little bit differently, like midgely differently. But in terms of how they want to go about winning football games, executing scheme, how they attack the field, not a lot of that has changed. They're just efficient. They're really good at it. They're really good at executing. They're not just that, they're good at executing. Aaron Rodgers is really good pre-snap at understanding what teams have. And they've had most of their success. And Johnny Dell broke down the Packers offense the other day with his video. Absolutely fantastic. If you want a really good look at the Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay, and what they like to do and where they've had a lot of success this year, go check out Johnny Dell's Football Academy and check out that video because he talked about it. I think it's 50% of their scoring drives, Ant, they're able to complete a fade route. And it's either complete a fade route or get a DPI on a fade route call down the field. They're an efficient team. Not Kyle, but Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur know when to take their opportunities and take their shots. Aaron Rodgers typically understands when he has one-on-one man coverage. They use the motion to reveal it, and then you got their fade dialed up, and they'll take their shot downfield. And if they complete it, they have a chance to score more times than not on the drives. And if they don't complete it, it's usually a drive that ends in a punt. So it's all going to be, I think this week is huge for D'Amico Ryans to disguise those coverages, because if you can give those cover one looks, make Aaron Rodgers want to take the shot downfield and then have safety help over the top on Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard, whoever it ends up being, and, force those into either incompletions or, the pressure is able to get after Rodgers. He's got to hold a little bit to get that ball out. Talk about potentially picks and things of that nature. This thing could swing in San Francisco's favor huge.
Yeah, I mean, and what you described from what you're watching on Johnny Dell is correct. But what's different from that from week 3? It's not, right? Defensive pass interference, fade routes. That's exactly what they do. They are who we thought they were. I think that the differences with the 49ers is more stark, because you have Elijah Mitchell, Deebo Samuel that are the ones that are operating in the run game. You didn't have the explosive plays with Trey Sermon at running back. He had one carry of over 10 yards. Accurate. You have Elijah Mitchell, who led the league in those explosive plays from the running back position. So, I mean, it's just a more dynamic change. You have also a more creative run game. that game against Green Bay, the run game, the way the 49ers executed was mostly from the shotgun, because that's where Trey Sermon felt comfortable. So it also changed where Jimmy Garoppolo was being. They didn't run a lot of RPO. So it's a completely different style of game plan. And since then, they've changed the run game up. The run game is way more flexible. It attacks so many different ways. They've added the cutbacks. Deebo Samuel is doing so many different things. This is day and night for the 49ers. And for Green Bay, have they improved? Yeah. But is it the same thing they've always done? Yes. Green Bay hasn't switched on what their roles are, what they're going to do. They've only adjusted to certain personnel decisions, no different than the 49ers have done. But Robert Tonyan not being there means there's one less guy to worry about.
And potentially no Valdez-Scantling.
And no Valdez-Scantling. So the top coming off the defense as well. Those are good things. It might give you and afford you the opportunity to go and double team Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is the real linchpin here. He's the freak of nature. He's the one that can get it done. He can beat Emmanuel Mosley one-on-one. There's not a lot of guys that can beat Emmanuel Mosley continuously one-on-one. Devontae Adams can beat almost any corner in this league into submission, and him and Aaron Rodgers have such great chemistry. But the thing is, it all lynches on Aaron Rodgers. So if you can get in his face, what's his pressure rate? What does he do when he has people in his face? His pressure rate, he's worse than Dak Prescott. Prescott in the 60s, Aaron Rodgers in the 30s against the 49ers. So get after the quarterback, and all of a sudden, yeah, you can be efficient until somebody hits you in the mouth.
Someone hits you in the mouth, and it's a lot harder. Sean had asked, will Bosa have a snap count for this game? As long as he clears concussion protocol, and no shenanigans in order to accomplish it, then no, he's not going to have a snap count. JLE ESPN Radio said, we will be road weary and lose this game. Road Warriors are always ready. Apparently, they haven't watched a lot of 49ers games this year, Ant, where they've had more success on the road earlier in the season than they did at home.
Yeah, no, the 49ers are way better on the road. And that's the thing. It travels, right? We've talked about this for a while. The 49ers run game, the 49ers defense, it travels well. And that's something that can happen in the playoffs. That's why they were dangerous. And that's why no one really wanted to see them. And I think this is something they're built for, they're ready for. And let's see what happens when you get out there, Green Bay. I guarantee that, yes, it will have a little bit of effect on the game, just the weather and the circumstances. You don't have your crowd. You're going to have to use silent counts and that sort of thing.
True.
So it will have an effect on the 49ers, but not as much as they think. The 49ers have played in some really interesting, places this year. And they've been able to play in Seattle. They've been able to play in New Orleans over the years. Jimmy Garoppolo is able to handle this, so I think they can get it done.
Very, very accurate there. Dyson Shear CS. Are we going to have a simulated game play again for the Niners Green Bay Niners game? Go Cutback Crew, go Niners. We will. 9 a.m. tomorrow, you're going to have the Madden Sim.
Must watch.
I will also probably play a Niners-Packers matchup pregame on Saturday as well that I'll live stream, that we can all kind of hang out and chat before the game. So anyone wants to watch that, you can do that as well. That'll be over on the YouTubes. We'll live stream that when the time comes. But no, the tomorrow's Madden Sim, do not miss that, Dyson. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is hit. I think it's only like 30% of the Cutback Crew right now, Ant, has that notification bell hit. Smash that thing. Smash that notification bell. That way you don't miss any of the glory that is tomorrow's Friday Frenzy, Ant, because that Madden Sim tomorrow, oh boy.
Yeah.
That is one incredible Madden Sim.
It is a wonderful one. I think anyone that enjoys the Madden Sims is going to really enjoy it. If you enjoy Madden, if you enjoy, the Madden Sims that we've been putting out, this is one of the cream of the crops. It's must watch. Don't leave before the end. I mean, just don't do it. You're going to miss out on some good stuff. Packers make some great plays in this game. Niners make some great plays. It's exciting. And then also the game plan video comes on right after that. Normally it's the game preview show. We kicked that a day early. Now we're going to do the game plan video because of, we have the game on Saturday. So it's a little bit of a different week. But yeah, there's 4 great videos again. And Jay in the Bay's video will be awesome as well. He does a great job. Anyone that hasn't checked out What's Good with Jay in the Bay, check it out. And then after you're done checking out, make sure you hop over to his channel and subscribe. He does a really good job. He's a good guy. He does a good job covering the Niners. So, big ups to Jay in the Bay.
Big ups, huge ups to Jay in the Bay, man. He's been killing it over here. He's been killing it over on his channel on YouTube. Look, I'm excited for the Friday Frenzy tomorrow. I'm excited for all the content we got coming out throughout the week. I'm still excited about, everything that is we still got to do today on the live stream, all the questions we still got to answer. And Cutback Crew, I want to know score predictions. I want to hear score predictions from the Cutback Crew. Start dropping some score predictions down there in the comment section right down below, and we'll read out some of our favorite ones. Sean asked, though, what is their run defense rated? I believe it is it 28th, Ant?
The run defense?
Yeah.
I believe the pass defense was 28th, right? I think the run defense might have been 15th or something like that.
Is that what it was?
Let me check. I got it right here.
Double check it, pull it up.
Look it up. And just like that, I bring it up. The run defense is 28th.
Okay.
The Green Bay pass defense is 16th.
Okay.
So I had them inversed. Middle of the road for the pass defense, and then
one of the worst in the league.
One of the worst against the run, where the 49ers are the 7th best run offense. However, once you've inserted Deebo Samuel, and here's a stat for everyone, right? Deebo carries the ball 6 or more times.
Niners win.
They're 7-0 when that happens. So that is something. And I seen, was that Sean that brought up about the 49ers carrying the ball?
Run the rock 30 to 35 times.
He's right. Because when the 49ers run the ball 30 to 35 times or over 30 times, they usually win the football game. If they do that in this and Deebo has the ball for 6 carries, which he definitely will, the 49ers have a good opportunity to win.
Agreed with you there, Ant. Agreed with you there. Brad Jones plus our D-line, I think, is a lot better than week 3.
1,000%, yes. 1,000%.
That may be the most accurate thing that's been said today from the Cutback crew.
It's not even close. If you go back and watch that game, Arden Key wasn't effective because he was still developing. Samson Ebukam looks a little bit lost. Now he's just, a stud against the run, and he plays the pass so much better. You've got Eric Armstead that plays on the inside. Back then he played on the outside.
True.
Kinlaw wasn't as effective as an inside pass rusher. They didn't play DJ Jones in pass rush situations.
Nope.
It's a completely different way of handling it. Well, everyone has developed. Contavious Street, Kevin Givens, everyone's better. To me, it's not even close, and you've seen that in the stats. It's just getting better and better for that defensive line.
It truly is. And David Campbell, I think you just got a semi-answer to your question. He said, you think outside of Green Bay fans are pulling for the Niners? Rodgers has been pretty douchey this year, is what he said. Well, ask the question, and Marketing Pro has your answer. 49ers are taking an L. So, David, to answer your question, no, not all fans are. Some people, like the Rams, are rooting for the Green Bay Packers for whatever reason.
Marketing Pro, I'm glad you're back after your hiatus. He
kind of disappeared after week 18.
He missed after they got shellacked in the second half there.
I was hoping to see him on Quest for the West.
Yeah, I was too.
We had a special correspondent. I actually thought it was going to be you, Marketing Pro. I thought you were going to be the special correspondent, and ended up being Ant because the Niners took over SoFi.
Yeah. Marketing Pro, welcome. I am curious if Marketing Pro thinks they can beat Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Because then if they did, the Niners could theoretically have 2 home games at SoFi for the NFC Championship and then the Super Bowl.
True.
Hey, Marketing Pro, we'll see you there, man. We'll see you there. You can come wear a sea of red with us. When your Rams lose to Tampa Bay, I have no problems putting on a 49ers jersey and joining the bandwagon. You love Jimmy G. Well, get a Jimmy G jersey.
Very true there. Very, very true. Gary Fogey hit him with the timeout, and he timeout because he said Rams own the West. You may own the West, but you fell backwards into it, Marketing Pro.
How can you own something when you can't even beat one of the teams? Literally,
I just don't understand why are you, Marketing Pro, why are you spending your time here and not on Rams shows with is there no good Rams content creators out there?
No, there's not.
Oh.
Have you seen any?
No. We can't even find one
we can't find one for Quest for the West. Yeah.
We can't find one for Quest for the West. So you're not wrong. Never mind. Marketing Pro, silly question. Don't worry about answering. When you come back from timeout. I
actually have no problems with Marketing Pro. To me, Marketing Pro is kind of funny.
He's definitely funny.
Yeah,
he's apparently a Jimmy stan also.
He is a Jimmy stan, yeah.
Which is just odd.
Yeah,
just odd.
Especially because Jimmy owns the Rams. Maybe that's it. He's been rooting for the
owner for the Rams.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that does make sense. I'm seeing 28-24 good guys from David Campbell. 42-13 sounds familiar, doesn't it, from Caleb because he's a big fat butthead.
I'm guessing you lost to him in some.
Oh, dude, I was out 3 of my offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And so can't run the football. Jimmy's a 72. Threw I think 4 picks. It was a great game.
Yeah.
Great. It was great. You know what? I can't wait for the Cutback crew to watch that because you know what you're not going to do when you watch that game the second time Caleb and I play? You're not going to be watching that game for the suspense that is the football game. You're just going to enjoy me raging for 45 minutes.
Wait. You mean you let your emotions get the best of you?
Man, who would have thunk that?
Yeah, and you definitely didn't make any excuses right now that you had 3 offensive linemen out.
No, I mean, listen.
Apparently, you've never heard "no excuses, play like a champion."
No, I've heard it. You can ask Caleb. I pretty much after the second drive of the game, once he went up 14-0 and just literally moved the ball downfield very easily with no resistance at all. Basically just said, this game's over, and I'm not running the ball another time the rest of the season.
Imagine if the 49ers would have done that down 17 to the Rams.
Hey,
they probably wouldn't have made the playoffs.
Question.
Yeah.
Is Kyle Shanahan the head coach and I'm not for a reason?
It seems so, yeah.
Look at that.
You gave up.
I in Madden, I definitely did that.
Wow.
That game is hot garbage.
Wow.
Hot garbage game.
I'm disappointed in you.
I'm not.
I expected more.
Hey, I'm not.
But well done.
More important things in my life than to worry about winning the Madden game.
Well done, KNDR.
Yeah, you absolutely got me. Hey, Marketing Pro is back. Haven't seen you in a while. I wonder why. Yeah, no, that's a great question. The D-line is firing. Coach Kasarik is the man. He really, really is.
He's good, man. Coach Kasarik is one of the best.
Sean asks, is Hurst a 3-tech?
Yes. Yeah, he is a 3-tech. And I think the only way we're going to see Maurice Hurst is if Jordan Willis is unable to go. They listed him as questionable, but out of the three, he's the one Kyle Shanahan doesn't mention as a possibility to play. So I think Jordan Willis is an outside hope that he's going to be able to play. We'll see. It could be Maurice Hurst, and if so, yeah, he'll be playing the 3-tech.
Tommy just asked, Ombre isn't playing? No, as of right now, Ombre is.
Yeah.
Ombre is playing. Well, he's questionable. Kyle is saying they'll see how he feels come game time.
But he expects to see him out there.
He expects to see him play, but he could be a game time decision. I guess we'll see what happens, Tommy. But he named the two guys who would play if it wasn't Ombre Thomas and it's Dante Johnson or Josh Norman. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
True. And by the way, Ant, KNDR's game basically kicked him at the end, froze the game. So the game officially didn't count in theory, but I gave it to him. We're giving it to him.
What do you mean? You gave up after 14-0.
I did.
You seceded.
I gave it to him.
Yeah, you seceded to 14-0.
And then gave it to him after the game. After
you already gave it to him 14-0. It was over. KNDR beat you into submission.
He did.
With 2 early touchdowns.
Well, it was 2 early touchdowns and 2 picks on the first 2 drives.
I would have loved to have played you in Madden tournaments.
Oh, I wouldn't have played you.
Why not?
Because if I had known that you were in the tournament, I wouldn't have played. Because I played you once already, and it's annoying. And here's the thing, Caleb, you think what you did was nice and special. It was nothing. The worst is Ant. Ant is the worst to play Madden against. He is 100% the worst.
Why?
I'm not going to go into it.
Why?
I'm not going to go into it here on this.
I don't even play Madden anymore.
No, not anymore, but it's still there. I know it's still there. And that doesn't just go away.
Oh, I don't know.
It doesn't just go away, my guy. It really doesn't.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun for you, not for me. Sir Juju, 30 to 29ers. See, this is what I mean. I know 3 people. Well, actually, 3 people. Because Caleb, you got me the one time, but this is what I do with Madden. So, 3 people though that I know consistently that I hate playing against. My buddy Drew, who's in the Madden League, who has been
really good, and
slacking everybody. You, Matt Rieger.
Well, yeah, I don't like playing against Matt either.
It's
because he does randomness.
It's forwards.
Onside kicks every single time. Yeah,
and he gets them.
Yeah, he got one. I think he went up on me the first time we played. He was up like 7-0. I beat him 77-7.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah,
I'm glad you did.
Yeah,
absolutely hate playing Madden. It's one of the worst experiences ever. Brad, what do you guys think of the other matchups this week? That is a solid question because there's a lot of interesting games. Obviously, on the other side of the bracket of the 49ers in the NFC, you have the Rams-Bucks game. 2 teams, Ant, that have, well, what you think is solid quarterback play, but is, Tom Brady. You have the wonderful Matt Stafford with air quotes there, lots of air quotes. But 2 head coaches, right, in McVay and with Bruce Arians, who are energetic, who like to throw the football, like to do a lot of things there.
Right.
Both teams have a lot of success when you're able to establish the run game. But I think only one of those 2 teams has an opportunity to actually try and accomplish that. The biggest, I guess, question mark going into that game now is what Christian Wirf's status is. The right tackle for
that is a big question.
The
mark.
Bucks.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and they don't have a lot of depth at the right tackle spot. I don't know if you saw the right tackle that went in, but he got absolutely owned. And he actually came off the field a little gingerly. They got some struggles if Christian Wirfs isn't playing. They can get after Tom Brady and frustrate him. I think this game is going to be really super close. The Rams were able to get after them early on this season. I don't put it past the Rams winning. To me, Tampa Bay's getting everyone healthy, but the Rams carried over the first half of the Niners game into last week's game against Arizona, and we're the bullies in the situation. I think the Rams are a good football team. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams don't beat Tampa Bay on Sunday.
It could happen. It could happen. I don't want to put it out into the ether because I think, I think the Rams you have to go prove it. I mean, this is the defending Super Bowl champions. They're not just going to go down without a fight. But I think the Rams have the pieces, the weapons, and I think you have them at the right time. They're not healthy. You do have guys who have been coming back from injury, which is great for them, but they're coming back off extended periods of time. So the rust may be there. They may not be able to play at the highest of levels. It's gonna be interesting. I think the Rams have an opportunity. I think this could be. I think there are two teams. I think there are two teams this weekend who could go in to the opponent, on an away game, or excuse me, three teams that could go in on an away game this week and win. There's three teams that can do it. It's the Niners, it's the Rams, and it's the Bills. I don't see any world in which the Bengals are able to take care of the Titans unless.
No world, huh?
Well, I mean, with King Henry back, if he's not limited, no, I don't see any world. Do you?
There's always a world.
Okay.
There's always a chance in football.
Is it a world that doesn't take technology that doesn't exist yet to get there?
No, it takes Jamar Chase and Burrow going off. T. Higgins making some big catches.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, the Tennessee Titans, they're going to have the run game. But, if Cincinnati loads up, the Cincinnati Bengals, their secondary is not that bad.
No, it isn't.
They can hang. I mean, it all depends on...
And I always butcher his name unless I'm actually physically looking at it.
You're talking about the tight end for the Bengals?
No, Uzama. I'm good with that one now.
Okay.
It's the corner for the Bengals.
Oh, okay.
Who's PFF's second-rated DB in the entire league this year.
They're good. I think that game's going to be a good one. I think you're right. It's an uphill battle, but I don't say no world where they can't win. Cincinnati Bengals are a better football team than people think. I mean, barely lost to Green Bay, barely lost to the San Francisco 49ers.
Both those games in overtime?
Yeah. I mean, they're a good team. It's going to be some slobber knockers this weekend, that's for sure.
I agree with you on that, Ed. I agree with you on that. By the way, SG Sports Talk channel, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, what's up, SG?
I know it wasn't special. It was a HB dive and an inside zone the whole game. Yeah, it was. And even when I run predicted, Caleb, it didn't matter. I was run predicting engage eights, full engage eights, 3 guys deep, and Latavius Murray is the best running back in the history of Madden.
Oh,
and apparently Aaron Donald, no impact on football games.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does. It really does. I'm not joking. It was literally like playing you the one time. It was literally.
That.
That's why at 14-0, I was like, we're good. I'm not here today. I'm just not here. David Campbell, Samuel with Taylor's usage, 2,100 yards, 43 TDs, 111 broken tackles. I like that.
I mean, that's it. I mean, Deebo Samuel, that's the numbers that have kind of been put out there that, he would do that with a sort of touch. Of course, he can't hold up, in that situation because because of the position he plays at wide receiver.
The wide back position?
Yeah, he runs, right? He's running routes every single play. He's going to be more tired than a running back. That's why Elijah Mitchell is able to carry the ball 27 times, and Deebo Samuel has to carry it under 10.
Very, very accurate. Tommy with a $2 super chat says Niners lead the league in yards per play with the flex emoji. They do.
Jimmy Garoppolo is also the number one in completions as far as yardage per completion at over, I believe it's like over 9.
Yeah, it is over 9, so almost 10 per.
Yeah, and I mean, I know a lot of it has to do with the run after the catch, but that's still putting the ball right in the position to get your guys to be able to make plays. And Deebo Samuel, of course, the number one receiver yards after the catch.
Dyson just said something, Anthony, you and I have been off air talking about actually quite a bit. Niners-Rams in the NFC Championship game. I'm not sure I want to see the Rams for a third time this year. Tommy just said the inverse. Bucks are a horrible matchup for us. Ant and I have been having this conversation a lot because if the Niners are able to get past Green Bay and we have a reaction show, the reaction show is going to be talking about not only the game, but what's next. Because that is an interesting proposition. Having to play the Rams for a third time, a division opponent that you've already faced twice, where the head coach knows your coach, just like your coach knows him. If you're McVay, you did something in that last game that we haven't seen a lot of teams do to the 49ers. You came out and for a little bit there were the physical dominator. You came out and bullied. It didn't hold up. It didn't last. The Niners adjusted. But if you can replicate that if you're the Rams, put yourself in an even better position. Maybe instead of 17-0, it's 21-0 instead of taking the field goal.
Yeah.
That's a tough situation for the 49ers to have to face again for a third time. It's not easy to beat teams more than once in a season. It is darn near. I don't want to say impossible, but it is tough, really tough to beat a team 3 times in one season.
It all depends on what their mental is. I mean, yeah, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, but it's also hard if you've lost 2 games to another team to be able to respond. I don't know what the mental makeup is of that team. All right, are the 49ers just in their head at this time? Because you had some of the guys like Jalen Ramsey saying, I just want to beat these guys. I just want to get this over with. I want this conversation done. Now they did, and that lingers, right? That hangs around. Could that be a mental block or a mental advantage for the 49ers? I don't know. I am worried about playing the Rams for a 3rd time this season. I think anytime you play a team 3 times, it is a recipe for disaster. I think the 49ers could overcome, of course, because I know what the team is and what they're about. It would mean that 49er fans would probably be able to go to that game. It's in LA. There would be a huge presence of 49er fans there, even though I think the Rams fans would do their best to not allow that to happen. But it's LA. I mean, Los Angeles fans just don't show up in the way that 49ers or other teams in this league show up. But it would be interesting because the winner of that game theoretically would never leave California. I mean, if that happens and the Rams win and the 49ers win, the winner would not leave California, right? After that, they play in SoFi for the NFC Championship game. And they play in the Super Bowl at SoFi Stadium. Travel, everything is an advantage for the Rams and for the 49ers. So that could be big. It's almost a home field advantage for them. So, I mean, in that regard, it's one of those things where that would be nice for the 49ers to not have to leave, not have to travel. But I'm not sure Tampa Bay isn't a better matchup at this point because Tom Terrific is more of a stable target, but still is Tom Terrific.
Agreed with you there, my guy. Agreed with you there. Some interesting news, and we had talked about this the other day. I just saw this pop up across my timeline here. We talked about the possibility of Harbaugh to the Raiders and how if he's offered the job, most likely he's going to take it. A handful of Raiders players have come out and stated who they want to be the head coach of the Raiders. And it is Rich Biasaki.
Of course it is.
So they want him to stay as the head coach in Las Vegas. Do you think they're going to go that route? Do you think they won't if they know there's a chance at Harbaugh, do you really think they won't pull the trigger?
I think it would be a mistake on his part. I think it would be a mistake on Mark Davis's part to not hire, somebody like that. Because I think it'll be more attractive to another player such as Aaron Rodgers or to Russell Wilson to go play with a Jim Harbaugh or another big name coach. To me, they just make more sense. I understand the loyalty. He did a good job. He's a good guy. The fact that he sat there and wrote letters, after the game to every single player is a testament to who he is as a person. But guess what? Being a good guy doesn't make you a really good head coach.
Accurate.
So I think anytime you have the opportunity to go out there and let's be honest, Mark Davis, he's out there chasing ghosts. They haven't been able to get over the hump and win a Super Bowl. Al got them to this, helped get them to the Super Bowl in 2002. But think about it, going into this next season will be the 20-year anniversary of them playing in the Super Bowl. It's been a long time. So I think that they're itching for this fan base is very rabid. I wonder how much of that fan base really wants them to hire this guy, or if they would rather have a Harbaugh or somebody else.
I think they would rather have a Harbaugh. I think they would, and I think Harbaugh would rather it'd be Harbaugh.
Yes.
To be honest with you.
Tommy says, can we throw in the Bucs defense? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, their secondary's not great. Linebacker core good. Defensive line really good.
Well, Tommy, here's
secondary.
Here's the thing I will say about them stuffing the run. They have stuffed the run at times, and then at other times they have not. There have been teams this year that have run the ball all over that Bucs defense. Atlanta Falcons are one of those teams included that was able to accomplish it later in the season. The Bucs defense is stout in that front, but they have been dealing with some injuries. They haven't been playing necessarily the same, and the struggles on the back end have made it so that they can't load up the box with extra guys. They have to try and accomplish it with 7, and they haven't been able to do it at the same pace they did last year.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, and it's about matchups, and the 49ers would put some stress on Tampa Bay in certain situations to make plays, and I think that is Tampa Bay a really good football team? And maybe like 5 or 6 weeks ago, I would have told you Tampa Bay was the worst matchup. I just believe that when it comes down to choosing between Tampa Bay and LA, you're not really going to get a great matchup anyways. Yes, I believe we've beat the Rams twice, so that gives us somewhat of an advantage. But, I mean, beating a team 3 times, it really is a feat. I mean, people that have played football know this. It's a struggle. So I think that is something that the 49ers are going to have to, overcome. I think the Rams, if they're in the right mental, they've already proven now. They have a half, right, that showed them what they could do to the San Francisco 49ers. I think they believe now. Even though they lost, there's still that glimmer that they could get it done. But either way, I mean, it's going to be a matchup for the ages because Los Angeles is not going to be easy to beat down in LA, and Tampa Bay with Tom and all them, they're not going down without a fight. I mean, you're going to have to literally rip it from their hands in that case.
100%. 5 of their last 7 games, Tommy, over 100 yards rushing. 5 of their last 7. Now, granted, they only lost one of those football games, and that was to the New Orleans Saints, but a lot of those games were a lot tighter than they should have been, and they also, down the stretch, had one of the easiest schedules down the stretch. They played Indy, Atlanta, Buffalo, New Orleans, Carolina, the Jets, and the Carolina Panthers, and the New York Jets rushed for 150 yards on that Tampa Bay team. So, do they have a stout defensive front? Absolutely they do. Can you run on them? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think one of the real issues with them, right, is like Vita Vea in the middle.
Correct. He's the biggest problem.
Yeah, those guys are problems in the middle. And, of course, 49ers, you worry about your inside interior guys. The 49ers live on the edge, though. I mean, they live on the backside. And you can take advantage of Vita Vea a little bit on his aggressiveness, getting up the field, and then be able to wham block him with George Kittle and Kyle Juszczyk, and at least alleviate some of his pressure at times. Is it going to be a fun matchup? No, but none of these matchups are fun. If the 49ers are going to play the Rams, I'm okay with it. Like, if they're going to play Tampa Bay, I'm okay with it because I think the 49ers recipe and blueprint is going to be the same. And as long as they're able to execute it, then they can win the game. And I think that every fan can go into and think that, they have an opportunity to beat these teams. And that's all you're asking for this time of the year.
Correct. I don't think there's a team left that can't be beat in the NFL right now. You have a lot of teams that have a lot of strengths, but also have some weaknesses. It's really going to come down to styles, and it's really going to come down to execution for all these teams. I think on any given Sunday, any team could walk out of this year with a Super Bowl. Woo! Goodness gracious. In order for the Niners to beat the Packers, Jimmy G needs to have his best no margin of errors from John Lou. Jimmy's got to play a good football game. He's going to have to play a good football game. He's got to take care of the football. If he takes care of the football, the Niners are, I think, one loss in the last 2 seasons when Jimmy doesn't turn the ball over?
Yeah, they're one of the best. I mean, when they win the turnover margin, they usually win the football game. So, I mean, that is not a false statement from John here. I think that he needs to play a good game. Eric Davis disagrees a little bit and thinks that the 49ers do have a margin for error, that they don't have to play a perfect game to beat the Green Bay Packers. I seem to think there are areas where the 49ers are so much better, they can make up for it. But whenever you have Aaron Rodgers on the other side, it definitely makes you think about it, and it makes you a little bit queasy, the possibilities of what him and Devontae Adams could do together. So I think that, if the 49ers want to make sure they win this football game, Jimmy Garoppolo's got to keep a lid on the turnover jar and not let that get out. Don't let the goodies out because it can be a problem. And so hopefully he does, and hopefully we play a clean game. And if the 49ers do and they win the turnover battle, they will win the football game.
Accurate, Ant. Very accurate indeed. Interesting one here from Brad, Ant. Let's face it, the NFL wants it to be Bucs versus Packers, hence why both NFC away teams coming off 6-day breaks. So don't yell at the TV when the refs start throwing phantom flags against the Niners. Brad, are you setting yourself up for failure? Are you preparing for the worst?
I think Brad's not ultimately wrong about that. The NFL definitely likes a Rodgers-Tom Brady matchup. The question will be, after seeing the ratings of 49ers versus Cowboys and the fact that the 49ers travel so well as a fan base, are they going to look at it and say, you know what? What's better than a Jimmy Garoppolo dealing with all the injuries that he's dealing with, overcoming, going against his mentor? And then you get the questions. The 4-letter network will do it. Can Jimmy Garoppolo retire Tom Brady? Can he officially knock him off his throne? There's so many storylines there that I don't think that it's going to have a big impact. But you're right. Rodgers versus Brady is appealing. I just think Garoppolo versus Brady is appealing as well. If it wasn't Garoppolo versus Brady and they didn't have the mentorship, I do believe that you're right. And I think that in no world Matthew Stafford fits into that. So I do think they want it to be Tom Brady, and I think they want 49ers or Packers to win. But I think there's storylines either way. Can Aaron Rodgers finally overcome and beat Tom Brady, or can the pupil slay the dragon that is the mentor?
I am the master now.
Yeah.
Right. That whole situation, master v apprentice. There's a lot of storylines coming into this football game. You know what I would prefer than all of that, Brad? I hope you're wrong. I really do hope you're wrong on this. I hope the league stays out of it. I hope the league stays out of it. I hope there's not a lot of penalties. I hope this is a clean football game for both teams in which you get to see whoever is the best team is going to come out on top. Am I going to hold my breath for that? Absolutely not. Not going to hold my breath for it at all. The NFL, if the NFL has shown one thing over the years, it's that you have so many rules and so many nitpicky things, it's almost impossible for officials to call clean games.
Well, I mean, last year, right? What was it? The NFC Championship could have been Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers.
True.
So I mean, it's not like this hasn't been a situation before. I don't think the NFL is going to get involved. I think they're going to let this thing play out. To quote the great, Happy Gilmore, let the ball play where it lies. I think that they're just going to let it happen. So I think that this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a battle. Do I think there's going to be calls that go one way or the other that people aren't happy about? Probably. We're going to have calls that we're upset with because we're 49er fans. They're going to have calls that they're upset with because they're Green Bay Packer fans. Of course, the whole thing is rigged. Everyone just knows it. But I think that, in the end, you're hopeful that the best team's going to win and nothing catastrophic happens that, dictates who the winner is. But
Agree with you there.
This is going to be a battle, and these guys have been doing it for a while, and I'm hoping for more of a 2019 style matchup.
Give me a 2019 style matchup all day. That's what I will take that 100,000%. Cutback crew, a couple more questions. We're going to wrap this thing up. We still got to get a game plan video done. I got to meet up with Jay in the Bay to get what's good ready for tomorrow for the Friday freaking frenzy. And that's always a good sign. So a couple of more questions from you, Cutback crew. And then we're going to wrap this thing up for the night. So get them in while you can. We're going to take a couple and then we'll move on. Brad said, I'd rather be wrong than right in the instincts, Ant.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got to trust your instinct.
Oh, you do. You gotta try and trust your instincts.
I like what Sean said.
What did you just say?
It's going to be a body bag game.
I love it.
Get him a body bag.
Get him a body bag. Yeah. Hey, man, there's still a lot of time left. Tommy Oxley said the Green Bay led the league in not turning the ball over, so we cannot give the ball away. Agreed. And you got to try and find a way to disrupt Aaron Rodgers as best you can.
Yeah. I mean, the blueprint is easy. I mean, if you watch the game plan video, we went through the blueprint.
Sure.
The blueprint is easy. You run the football on offense. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't turn over the football. And then on defense, you stop the run. So that way you can play the secondary over the top and you can take away Devontae Adams with double teams and make everyone else beat you. And without, Valdez-Scantling, it gets a little bit more complicated. Randall Cobb, apparently healthy. But that's a nice matchup for us with K'Wan Williams because they're similar height, similar body style.
True.
So, I mean, I think that the Niners do match up well with Green Bay. I think Green Bay they're going to give us everything we can handle, but I think they can get it done. I'm not nervous or worried about this game. And a lot of 49ers fans said that last week, right? And should I be worried about that? And I wasn't really nervous last week, and I'm not really nervous this week. I think there's one thing that I know about this team. At this point, everything's at stake. It's win or go home. There is no tomorrow. And I know that we're going to get the best version of the 49ers on Saturday. That's the one thing that I am very confident with. We're not going to get a team that doesn't show up. This is going to be a team that's going to show up and that's going to fight. And it's going to fight for 4 quarters until the last, whistle sounds and that clock ticks to 0. And you're either going to be going on and continuing down this journey and this path that the season has been, or you're going to get to go home and look back on the year and be like, hey, if we put ourselves in some better positions, maybe we're at home in San Francisco instead of having to travel to Green Bay and try to beat this team in the weather. Yeah. And, Tommy asked, is Zadarius Smith playing? Yes, Zadarius Smith is playing. They're going to be healthy pass rushers.
Other than, I think the only one right now that's not supposed to be playing is Scantling.
Yeah.
Scantling right now is the only one that's doubtful. It's probably not playing.
Yeah. The good news is, too, Jair Alexander is dealing with something, and he's probably going to be tasked with handling Brandon Ayuk. Good luck, because this Brandon Ayuk is not even the same one you saw in week 3. This guy is playing at a different level.
He is definitely playing on a different level. Sean says leave 26 on the bench. Play your starters more on special teams. Definitely punt return. Everyone is done with Josh Norman, and I don't know if I necessarily blame him.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll make some adjustments there, but I honestly think it was a scheme thing with Josh Norman in that playoff game. I saw the corner on the other side do the same thing. So,
very accurate. And 49ers fam, let's go, says Dames. Daniel, good to see you, Dames. You know why Kyle and Matt don't like each other anymore? Because they know Sean McVay wants a Super Bowl, and then it's then going to go into the media, and Kyle and Matt are both in it for the long run. They'll be battling. Listen, I think at the end of the day, you have 3 guys who know each other very well. 3 guys who have spent a lot of time with one another. three guys who football is in a very important part of their life and, what they're very successful at. And they don't want to lose to each other. At the end of the day, you don't want to lose to each other. Matt was a little teed off and ticked off at Kyle for calling and inquiring about Aaron Rodgers because I think Matt LaFleur knows that if there is no Aaron Rodgers right now in Green Bay, that they're not winning a Super Bowl and have no shot at it. No shot at real long-term longevity success because Love is not ready. And so he's a little peeved by that. So he wanted to stick it to Kyle. Now the Niners have experienced that. They've dealt with that. Kyle has dealt with that now for 2 straight seasons of not being able to get one over on Matt LaFleur after taking care of business twice in 2019. And listen, the Niners 1-2, then Green Bay 1-2. You're back to the drawing board now with these two. They're 2-2 against one another. This is the one now that's the most important. Playoffs, NFC Championship at stake. A lot of things on the line, an opportunity to be in the dance still and have a chance to go win a Super Bowl and play for a championship. They're going to leave everything on the table. They're going to do whatever they can. And Tommy Huxley hates Matt LaFleur.
Yeah. James Vega said, how rusty do you guys think the Packers players are going to be, especially the ones that are coming back from these injuries?
Injuries? The guys coming back from injuries, probably a little rust, but I don't expect that to be an excuse, and I expect them to shake it off pretty quickly. Everyone else, I'm not expecting there to be rust. They've been prepping. They've been watching. They've had almost more time than San Francisco to prepare for this game because they got to watch that game unfold. And, LaFleur about halfway through the game was probably like, time to start prepping for Kyle Shanahan. He thought they were going to run away with it.
Yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, I think you're going to have a knockdown kind of drag out sort of game. Sean jokingly said it's going to be a body bag game. It very well could be the case. I think that's just kind of the Niners style right now. That's what you kind of want. You want teams to try and be physical with you. And then you want to impose that will and physicality on them.
Yeah, and thanks Sean so much. He said he loves our live shows, and that's awesome. And he was stoked he's be able to catch the live show. Yeah, definitely, Sean. Always great to have you around. Always great to have you in chat. You add a lot to it, so thank you so much for that. Yeah, and Brad Jones is saying, hey, I torched Diggs last week consistently. Yes, he did. T.O. jumped in with Harbaugh to Dallas.
I didn't think they were going to be firing Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I haven't heard that yet. If that job comes open, my belief would that it would be Kellen Moore.
Agreed with you.
But we'll see.
I agree. We'll see, and definitely indeed.
But imagine that right now. Who's available? Vic Fangio's available.
Yep.
And you've got Harbaugh possibly getting hired. Harbaugh could re-team up with Vic Fangio wherever he wants to go.
That's true.
You could put that group together. That was a nice group. I mean, I don't know what Greg Roman's up to. Is he going to be still hanging around in Baltimore?
Very, very accurate. Tommy Huxley says Aaron Rodgers is terrible versus pressure.
He is. He is bad against pressure. That is true. When he has pressure in his face, he struggles a little bit.
Very accurate. And KNDR says maybe Nick Newman was right about Josh Norman. KNDR, are you talking about the first time when he was very excited the Niners signed Josh Norman, or are you talking about the second time where he said Josh Norman and Drake Kirkpatrick are with a swear word and red face?
I'm pretty sure he means the latter. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's going to be tough to pass in this game. Run is going to be what wins the 49ers the game, baby. Look, that may be the case, but I think you and I both have watched enough film of Green Bay to know if you're able to establish the run, being able to throw the football is going to become a lot easier against this team. The way they like to play this, where they stick their down linemen, sometimes rolling with one linebacker with 6 guys at the front, and then your safety's playing 10 yards in within the box.
Yeah, I'm still wondering who's going to cover George Kittle.
Still wondering.
I don't know how they're going to cover George Kittle. He could be a big part of the game plan. Kyle Juszczyk was a big part of the game plan in the game before. Yeah, but the run game is the most important thing. If they get the run game going and established, it's going to open up the void over the middle of the field, and the 49ers are going to be able to, get these playmakers the ball and let them do their thing.
Ralph, come on, man. Aaron Rodgers is now a hippie boy. Just threaten him with war and hate, and he will fold.
Oh, jeez.
Come on, Ralph. Don't need this negative juju magumbo in here. You knock that off. You get that out of here. Brad, that would be the worst possible scenario. Florio is pushing Harbaugh to the Cardinals if they fire Cliff. No. And here's the thing. I think you know it. I think I know it. If Harbaugh had a choice between the Arizona Cardinals and the Las Vegas Raiders, barring him not wanting to coach against Kyle Shanahan, he would 100% want to take the Arizona job just to stick it to the 49ers franchise.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You don't think he holds ill will to York
and
everything that happened?
But what would you rather be in? The NFC West that has the Niners, the Seahawks, and the and the Rams that are all good football teams, or would you rather go to the AFC West where you've got who?
The Chiefs?
The Chiefs.
Chargers?
Didn't make the playoffs.
They didn't make the playoffs, but they're
the
still...
Denver Broncos?
And that, you're not worried about
they don't have a quarterback.
You're not worried about the Broncos at all.
So which one is more appealing?
I don't know.
I mean, the Cowboys would be the most appealing because they play in the NFC East. I don't think he wants to go to Arizona.
I think NFC East is. I mean, if you're a coach, if you're a premier coach in this league, that's the conference you want to go to. The NFC East, because it's hot garbage.
I mean, let's be honest. Jim Harbaugh would rather have Dak Prescott than Kyler Murray for the style of offense that he runs.
That's accurate.
If you're going to Arizona, you better be able to run a spread open offense that Kyler is going to be able to operate. Right now, Cliff Kingsbury and him are tied together because that's the style of offense they need to run. I can't see him running Jim Harbaugh's style of offense. And the offense that Harbaugh's been running at Michigan is hot trash. Like, it's garbage.
Not good.
They can't win big-time football games because of that offense. Great defense, but the offense is trash. No, he needs to go back to the pro-style way of playing. And you've seen his brother, John, had to go to a completely different offense. Maybe he does go to Arizona, but is he going to call Colin Kaepernick because he needs a different quarterback?
He needs something.
Yeah.
He needs something. Does Trent Williams finally get his touchdown? No, he does not get his touchdown in this game.
No.
Tommy Huxley, are you guys worried about max protect?
He's talking about the fact that they're having to keep George Kittle into play. And no, I'm not. If they establish the run game early, they won't have to worry about max protect. They'll be able to move the pocket. Green Bay will have to commit too many people to the run game, and then you'll be able to get the ball out in a hurry and get it to the guys you want to get it to, because the Green Bay Packers can't man up on the 49ers receivers.
Brad said, do you guys think they're hiding Kittle a little, keeping him in their back pocket as an emergency if they're losing? Jelly said, will Kittle show up in the pass game? I don't think this is any sort of thing where they're not scheming him for opportunities. I think he's having opportunities to go out in pass situations on routes.
Yeah.
I think teams are focused on taking George Kittle away.
They were. I mean, Jalen Ramsey played him, against LA.
Yep.
This last game, George Kittle, had the opportunity to make like 4 or 5 catches. There's one play, and especially where he wins, and he's deep down the field, but Jimmy doesn't have the time to get rid of the football.
You're talking about the one where he's back across and Jimmy's booted left with pressure coming in his face. It would be across the field throw outside the numbers.
Yeah,
tough throw.
You can't make that throw, not especially with pressure in your face.
No.
So I think that they can scheme it up a little bit. But part of the game plan is using George Kittle as a blocker. I think that there's going to be ways for them to get him the ball against Green Bay because I think Green Bay is a different style of defense than Dallas. Dallas had better linebacker play. So
True.
It's going to be a different matchup. I just don't think they have a matchup now for George Kittle. So I think he's going to be more involved. I think you can see him make 6 or 7 catches in this game.
I like that. Let's see 6 or 7 catches. Let's see a lot of yards. Where is it at here? I think Ralph had asked a question. What do you guys think are the Packers' weaknesses? Is Debo getting doubled so Kittle has a big game? Ayuk, Jennings. The Packers' weaknesses is the run defense, first and foremost. The way they have to commit as many people to the line of scrimmage as they do. They run that bear front. And early this season, in week 3, when they ran that bear front against the Niners, they had a lot of success slowing down the run game. Now, you and I think both believe that it wasn't because the Niners are incapable of running the football, but more because your O-line wasn't playing at the level it's playing right now. Alex Mack wasn't playing at the level he's been playing recently, and Trey Sermon is not RB1 for any team in the league at all, period.
Trey Sermon's RB4 for the 49ers, and he was in that game.
And Kyle Juszczyk was the one taking a lot of primary carries on certain downs and distances.
They also changed the way they ran the ball. They ran it primarily out of shotgun because that worked better for Trey Sermon. That's what he's more comfortable with. That's not how Kyle Shanahan wants to operate. He wants to be able to go in and out of different looks and sets, move a lot of people with motions. They're doing a lot more of that now. And the toss crack is a huge play for the 49ers. They did not run it until after the Green Bay game. That's when they started really kicking things up. It has become the staple. It used to be the outside zone. Now it's a toss crack. So Green Bay is going to have to deal with that. And whenever you're running a 5-man front, if you can toss crack those outside guys and be able to hook them and seal that edge, get upfield, there's lots of room to run. So I think that the 49ers just didn't see the kind of run game that they ran against Green Bay at the time. It's a different team now, and they're going to execute a different way. And Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell are just way more explosive than Trey Sermon.
And I've heard a lot of people talking about this. Well, I saw the 2019 game, and Green Bay ran the same front. So Green Bay just got better at doing what they did in 2019 against the Niners, and the Niners got worse. No. If you watch the film from 2019, yes, they ran the bare front, but they ran it so much differently during the 2019 playoffs. They had the 5 down linemen, they had the 2 linebackers, but their 2 linebackers were at times almost 10 yards off the football. They weren't just committed and down near the line of scrimmage, and their safeties were 20 yards deep.
Yeah.
They completely flipped the script. They put their 5 down linemen at the line, and now they're bringing their safeties 3 to 5 from the line of scrimmage, and they're bringing their linebackers 3 to 5 from the line of scrimmage, and the safeties are 10 yards or sometimes even more in the box. They are committing, at times, almost 9 guys in that space within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, inside tackle to tackle or tight end to tackle. They are having to put a lot of guys in there to try and make things happen. And their safeties are not as good as Jimmy Ward and Jaquiski Tartt coming downhill and making stops in the backfield.
Here's something no one wants to hear, but I'm going to say it anyway. If they play that style of defense, hello, Travis Benjamin.
Yes.
Travis Benjamin is going to get up the seam for a big-time play. Jimmy just missed him against Los Angeles because he had pressure in his lap, and he threw the interception over the middle, but he could have easily hit Travis for a touchdown on that play. I think there will be a whole shot play. Travis Benjamin has proven, to be in Kyle Shanahan's game plan. You saw it against Dallas. You can see it again. So I think you might see him in that sort of situation because of how Green Bay has to play the run. I mean, they just have to commit so many people to doing it. It's a complete contrast to what the 49ers do on defense. They only have to commit 7 that can stop the run. Green Bay is going to have to commit 8, 9 guys to stop this 49ers run game.
Very true, Ant. And Brad said, he's not upset with Kittle. Kittle's play, unlike Cone's. Stunning that Grant Cone is upset with George Kittle. This is the same guy who said that Ross Dwelley should have been tight end 1 and has Super Dwelley Ant as his header still on Twitter because he just can't get over it.
And nothing against Ross Dwelley. He's a good guy. He's
also tight end 3.
He's also a local guy for us. He is 100% tight end 3. And they've went away from using tight ends as much. And George Kittle's been asked to do different things. And that only he can do as a tight end. There's not very many tight ends that can block the way Kittle has. But I think that in this game, his value is going to be in the pass game as well. I think there's going to be times they slip him out where it looks like he's going to be, giving run help and run blocking, and he's just going to fly out of there. Him and Juszczyk are going to be tough to deal with. They've been preparing for this for the last 2 weeks. They've been setting this up, leaving George Kittle in these situations. When we go into, I'll give everyone a sneak peek. Know your opponent. There's a play in there where George Kittle starts in the backfield and looks like he's going to max protect block, and then he leaks out. It draws a corner up, and they're able to get the ball to Deebo Samuel behind that. So that's still an effect George Kittle can have, and they've been waiting. They've been setting this up. Now I believe they're going to use it against LaFleur and this defense.
Listen, we've been talking about this. LaFleur had a lot of help from little brother the first time around. Mm-hmm. Kyle Shanahan adjusted after halftime. Didn't matter. You keep talking about how that was currency, right? You only had that. Mike gave you some insight into the 49ers, gave you some insight into Kyle Shanahan, and gave him a lot that he could utilize to his advantage. It was good for that one opportunity in that one game in week 3 when they were 1-1 on the season and wanted to get to 2-1, didn't want to fall to 1-3 on the year. And you definitely don't want the Niners getting to 3-0 because then they maybe roll. Who knows? So they used that currency, and they spent all of it, Ant. That currency is gone.
Yep.
It is not available. It was probably one of my all-time favorite things that you've said on the podcast, just in regards to something that's happened with this team. Look, the Niners are going to come out in a big way. There's going to be a lot of twists and turns along the way in this Saturday divisional game, this divisional round for the 49ers. It's a tough game at Lambeau Field, an historic stadium with temperatures that are going to be low, potentially some snow, and a lot of things happening. We'll see. We'll see how this game pans out. We'll see if the 49ers are able to take care of business. But you know what you don't have to wait for too much longer, Cutback Crew? A Friday Frenzy.
Yeah.
Because it is literally tomorrow, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time, carrying all the way through until 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. You have 4 videos all throughout the day scattered out. Don't miss out on any of it.
Yeah, and Jay Ellie took care of the KNDR question about Purdy. Well done, Jay Ellie. The fellow Florida State fan just took care of business. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Jay Ellie, shout outs to you, my guy. And yes, Cutback Crew. It was a lot of fun. We enjoy all the questions. You guys they kill it, man. They kill it day in, day out.
Yeah,
every
they
time we
started
stream.
rolling here at the end, too. I mean, absolutely rolling.
Well, rolling at the end, there was a big turnout at the very start of this thing when we went live. We almost went live with 20 people in here. It's absolutely incredible. We love that. Cutback Crew, thank you for the support. Thank you for showing out in a big way. We hope you enjoyed this little bit of a news update, discussion around the game, and Q&A live stream. Man, and we got big day tomorrow, a huge day on Saturday, and hopefully a celebratory reaction show. That's what we're all hoping for.
Yeah, celebratory. That's what we want. Niners need to get it done against Green Bay. We're not ready for the season to end. We want all of it. We want the NFC Championship game. We want a Super Bowl. And the only way you do it is by beating Green Bay. Of course, this would be wonderful for anyone that grew up in the 90s. You beat Dallas, you beat Green Bay. That's what we need in our lives.
Hey, pump that straight into my veins, man. I need that all up in the veins, and all in the veins. Cutback crew, we'll catch you on the next one. Sean, we appreciate that, because as awesome as you think we are, you guys are 10 times more awesome.
That's
you guys give us the juice to keep doing this day in, day out, the daily content, the live streams a few times a week, and really trying to grow the channel. If you don't support us the way you guys have, hitting that like button, subscribing, joining over on Patreon, the super chat, everything you guys do for this channel is absolutely incredible. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm wearing the shirt today, and this is what I believe. 49ers are going to show up, wreck everyone, and leave in Green Bay. And that's how we're rolling. That's how we're doing it this week. Wreck everyone, leave, and let's see where the cards lay after that. If it's going to be Tom Turfic, I'm sorry, you're going down. And if it's Matthew Stafford, I'm sorry, Marketing Pro. You have to suffer a third straight loss to the 49ers. On the 49ers home field, by the way.
It's Levi's South, man.
Yeah.
It's just Levi's South. Niners faithful. Good to see you in the chat, my guy.
Yeah.
Cutback crew. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for the Madden Sim of all Madden Sims. It is going to be one hell of a ride. Make sure you stick around from start to finish. You don't want to miss out on any of tomorrow's Madden simulation. Literally. Don't miss out on any. We'll see you for the game plan video after that. Friday Frenzy is going to be off and running with a bang. And tomorrow morning, TCC, we'll catch you. We'll catch you tomorrow. And I think it's that time.
Yeah, let's chalk another one up.
9 a.m. Be there or be a Packers fan.
Go Niners.